Okay, good afternoon. It is Friday afternoon, and I am going to teach you a little bit about something called a single replacement reaction. This is something we're going to start on Monday and kind of introduce, and we'll be doing a lab on Tuesday and Wednesday with this. We're doing block periods on Tuesday and Wednesday. So the reason it says hi here is because this is the second movie I've filmed, and I realized that when I was writing some text on the board, it was all backwards, so I tested it out, and it said IH. So I have flipped around my iPad. I think I've got this correct now. So I want to kind of draw out what we're going to do and then show you what we're going to do. So I've got copper chloride. Right out right here, we've got copper to chloride. Hopefully one thing you can do at this point is remember that copper 2, that tells you something about the charge on copper, because copper is one of those transition metals. It means we actually have Cu plus 2. We've got chloride, so Cl minus 1. That means this substance right here, copper 2 chloride, has the formula CuCl2. I came from crisscrossing that down there. CuCl2. We are going to take some CuCl2 and we are going to add Al. You should know Al stands for aluminum. So CuCl2 plus Al, and we're going to see how those two react. So I've taken some of this and I've mixed it up in this beaker right here. I'm going to use a nice little funnel here. I always feel like I'm doing a cooking show. We're going to add some of our copper 2 chloride to this test tube, and I'm just going to grab some of our, we always call this tin foil. Hopefully you all know that tin foil is actually almost always aluminum at this point. So taking that, and I'm going to kind of roll it up a little bit. I am rolling an aluminum thing. I'm not going to use any slang words for that. So we've got our aluminum, and I'm going to deposit it directly into our test tube. There we go. I'm going to hold that up to the camera there. Hopefully you can see that. I've got no idea if it's in focus or not right now. What you should see is that we've got some darkness forming there on the aluminum. You should also see some bubbles forming there, and the longer that I hold this here, I'm going to kind of pan in and out because I've got no idea what you're seeing. You should see that those bubbles are getting bigger. They are forming faster on the surface of that aluminum foil. That's definitely evidence of a chemical change, a chemical reaction. Anytime you get a color change or bubble formation, that means definitely have chemical reactions going on. So I'm going to set this here. Hopefully you can see this while I write down a little bit about what's happening. So the two metals we have are copper and aluminum, and those are both on your metals on the left side of the periodic table or in the middle, and we've got chlorine and non-metal on the right side. Well, it turns out that copper actually likes its electrons more than aluminum likes its electrons. Right now aluminum is neutral. Copper, we saw earlier, was Cu plus 2. It's missing those two electrons. So what's actually going to happen is this copper is going to grab the electrons away from aluminum, giving us Al, aluminum chloride, Al, and we know that aluminum has a charge of plus 3, chlorine is minus 1, so this has to be aluminum chloride plus copper metal. So the aluminum has just been oxidized because it's lost electrons. The copper has just been reduced because it's gained electrons. It's now neutral. If you take a look at this, this is starting to, actually if I touch this, it's actually getting a little bit warm here. It's giving off some heat. Hopefully you can see those big bubbles that are forming. If I remove this from here, you can see that there's quite a bit of formation of some darker substance. Guess what that is? Hopefully you can answer. That is actually copper forming there. That copper metal. So Last thing we want to think about is the fact that this is not balanced right now. One thing you might want to do is before I show you how to balance this, maybe pause the video for a second and balance this for yourself. We'll take a look at our coppers. Those look good. Chlorines, we've got 2 and 3. So I'm going to put our lowest common multiple of 6. We want to get 6 chlorines over here, 6 over here. So we put a 2, put a 3. That gives us 6 chlorines. 6 chlorines. Now we've got 2 aluminum, so I'll put a 2 there. We've got 3 copper, so we need to put a 3 right there. I'm really hoping that you can see all this on the video right now. That's our balanced chemical reaction for what we just did right here. And we're going to do some more examples of that, single replacement reactions, Monday, a little bit Monday and Tuesday as well. So that is our video for the weekend. Beware, it's possible I could ask you a quiz question on this on Monday to make sure that you are watching this and learning up before we get into lab. Have a great weekend.